Today I want to talk about a message that was in the Weiss Schwarz group by a store owner, and I'm just going to read that here. As a store, someone explained to me where some of you backpack sellers are getting your cheapest cases for JP. The cheapest I found for my distributor is technically $2 more than what you are selling it for with shipping. How the hell can you just go straight negative to bully stores out of this game? So this is going to be my reply back to that. There are, I don't write on Facebook because I don't want anybody to have my name. And at the same time, this sort of reply takes a really, really long time to go over. And that's why I'm going to do this here. So this is just my warning to anybody watching this. Again, this is meant for store owners. If you want to know about what's actually happening with uh, resellers and everybody else, this is for you, but it's going to have a heavy amount of math in it. That's why I'm wearing my work clothes today. So it's going to have some heavy amount of math. It's going to be a long video. That's just how it's going to be. When I make my videos, it's funny, again, just so people know this, that people write these really, really long comments to me, and I bet these comments take like 5-10 minutes to write up. You do know that when someone makes a video, it's true for anybody. Like ask any YouTuber or anybody on Twitch that you have a certain period of time to capture someone's interest and hold it. People only stay, if you look at analytics, for 5 to 10 minutes. So when you say you don't see this angle, you don't see this angle, I actually do see this angle. It's more the fact that I can't make a 3 hour video and expect everybody to watch it. That's not possible. So I have to give you bits and bits. And that's what's going on here. I can't tell from this message if I feel like I have my thoughts on it, if this is rhetorical, if this is more just for awareness to people about what's happening, or really it's missing the entire picture. If you take a look at my videos, what I've done was I made a video about the math behind playsets. I made a video about undercutting, and then I made a video about what is it? Where people buy product from, right? Like all these things. If you combine this together, this right here is the last piece. Like again, how are people selling cases lower than what you can buy them for? The answer is pretty simple. Before we get there, I want to talk about this. It's not personal, it's business. Because the one thing that I want to address is right here. How the hell can you just go straight negative with the bully stores out of the game? And it's not personal, it's business. I know this is going to piss people off, but in reality, if you think through this, you can understand what's actually happening. That's one of the things I was told when I first started work. I was told that I shouldn't try to understand what people are thinking. And I think that was like the worst piece of advice I ever received. Just because it's like we are all controlled by our emotions and we all have some kind of motivation for doing the things that we do. And in order to figure that out, we do have to understand one thing: greed. This is the only thing I can think of. Greed is thinking about yourself most of the time without caring about what the other person feels, right? It's not personal, it's business. These people want money. It has nothing to do about your business. They don't wake up selling these cases, play sets, sign cards and think, you know what, I'm gonna destroy this business. No, they're thinking about their bottom line, not yours. Like you're on your own and they could care less. I know this was a video made for the business owners. There potentially are people that are just going to watch this. And again, I've had this on other videos, but I'm just going to do a quick overview. Again, who do customers buy from? Customers can buy Weiss Schwarz product from local stores, physical stores, right? You can buy it online from a store that is physical, or you can just buy an online store. You can buy it from said backpack sellers. There's no taxes that they have to pay to. They just sell it on PayPal, eBay, whatever. They won't be reported to the IRS. And they're just trying to make some money. And then the last one is people who just buy direct from a distributor. Next thing we got is sealed product. So what these people end up selling are booster boxes. cases or trial decks, which are over here and here. They also can sell singles. You can open these boxes, sell the singles. We got the playable cards. We got the play sets, which is 4 of each of the playable cards. And lastly, we have shiny cards. It could be SPs, SRs, triple rares, SECs. Okay. Now that we're all caught up, let's go over some scenarios. This is the part where I say there's going to be a heavy amount of math because you could see what's actually happening. Again, you need to take this as a whole. And again, that's what my videos do. When you piece them all together, you can see a whole picture, just not just one part. And that's when again I say people are missing. You need to look at the whole, not just part. So let's just assume that there is volume pricing. I don't have a distributor. I don't work with a distributor. I don't really sell product. I mean, I have before, but I'm not going to say that I worked with a distributor. I don't know what these numbers are, but from everything I've read before, this is kind of the same. And even then, if I'm off about my numbers, you can just change it and they're still going to make money. So it doesn't matter. So I'm assuming here that a person buying one case, they're paying $900. A person buying 10, they can get it at $875. And a person buying 20, they can get it at $850. Again, I can be completely wrong, but we can adjust the numbers. Okay. I'm going to unhide each step so that we can just all be on the same page as I move along. And if you're wondering what that beeping is, my wife is making lunch. So just doing this right here. We're going to assume all of these play sets being sold are without a trial deck, that they are 10 double rares, and that they're pricing it at $300. Again, they're in bold because I can mess with the number. Right? I mean, I've said before, I think play sets are going to $275. You could even put it at $250, right? Daily Live's been selling at $250. You could still make money that way. So what we got here is I'm going to assume that you can make 2 play sets per case. I know there's that thing where you might get an extra one and missing one of another, but we're just going to say on average you're going to get 2 from a case. So this guy up here that bought 1, he's going to make 2. This person up here is making 10. They can only sell 10, so again, math right here. We got 5 cases left over. This person has 10 cases left over. So if you were to be able to sell these at $300, this is how much you're at. Right? How much money that you made off of selling playsets. Next thing, we're gonna sell them shinies because as we know, when you sell playsets, you're going to end up with these fancy cards that people will not have. You will have them. You might throw the PR card in there, you might not. But let's just say you're going to sell, let's go to the high end, 2,900. I use the high end because that was what Data Live was selling for back then. And I'm just going to bring that up so you could see what I'm even talking about. Okay, so we have Data Live right here. This was, I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe I created this sheet in May. And again, I was just seeing how much the value of a playset was. So back then it was like $675 for a playset, which with trial deck, and you only bought it at $350. But at the end of the day, what I did was I looked over here. I started looking at triple rares, super rares, all that good stuff, and you end up with $29.13. I subtracted out the trial deck, and I know these are prices back in the day, but we're gonna change that number, right? We're gonna change this 2,900 number over time. So you can see right away that just selling these fancy, nice foily cards, you're already exceeding the upfront cost. Okay, it's totally worth it to you to have done that, and you can see that money back. So the play set plus the sale of the shinies was $3,500, $17,500, and $35,000, which again still exceeds this upfront cost. So right away, you're already good. Right? Like under this scenario that we have right here, you're already up money. And let's see. So that leaves us with how many cases left? Like this guy, even though he's up money, he has 5 cases left. This one has 10 cases left. So you invested money left invested. This is how much these cases cost. And this is the profit we're at right now. Okay, so we know that people aren't just going to sell playsets and shinies. People are going to sell some cases. So what I did was I took 105%. Let's just say you could sell it for 105. What that number actually is 918.75 and 892.50. Again, if you think that's weird or it doesn't seem right, I could just make it at 100, right? We could just sell it at cost. But we're going to say under the assumption that people bought it in early and they paid a higher price for it. So again, here's the total sale from the 3 cases. Here's the total sale from the 5 cases. Here's our money back that we have. And remember, the upfront cost is 900, 87.50, and 17,000. So you're already at a profit of this much. And we're not even done yet, right? Like, we have more cases left. So if I wanted to fire sell cases at 100%, let's just say, screw it, let's just go 95. Let's go 95. I haven't seen a case sell for $807.50, but you could technically do it. So there we are. That's the price of fire selling some cases. And in the end, what does that leave us with? Upfront cost $900. You get $2,600 profit. 87.50, you get 13,000, 17,000 upfront, and you're at 26,500 profit. But you're gonna be like, you know what, 2,900, that's not reality. It's more like, let's say, let's just go in the middle, just so you can see what happened. 1,500. 1,500 for all those sign cards, SR, triple rares, all that stuff. You're still in the money. Right, like as I change this here, you're still in the money. If I go 700, that's when you start seeing some negatives up here but you still had cases left, right? If you just did the quick math on this, it's you could easily get your money back. So when people go, why are you selling it lower? It's not because they care about you, the store. It's because, and it's not about bullying you, it's because they're trying to recoup their money. These people don't want to be in this for a year, 2 years, right? They just want to get their money back. See, so even if I drop this thing to 90%, which is $765, they still make money. At the end of the day, they want to make their money and they want to get their money back and move on to the next one. Right? They're very selective about what sets they're going to be buying into. They're not buying in the Magia record, right? They're going to be buying into Hololive, potentially Rent a Girlfriend, Ruby. I know some people said they were going to buy 7 Deadly Sins, which I think is insane. They're probably buying into Data Bullet. And again, this is the point. This is how it's happening. See, even if I go here, 100. If I go here, let's say 250, right? You're still making money at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. And these are like awful numbers, right? 250. What happens if I put 600? 600, you're still making money. Like barely. Like, is it worth that effort? Probably not, but you're still making it. So that's what I said again. Playsets can drop just because this right here is what's keeping it afloat, right? If I can buy a case at 850 and I'm selling these shinies and that, I'm still breaking even. Like, people seem to think that a store, that playset should stay at 300. Why does that even make sense? Just because the hard part to realize here is when you're a backpack seller, you don't have this whole hourly that you have to pay somebody. You're just sitting there watching TV, potentially opening these things, shoving it into a box, writing a post on Facebook and selling it. Right? You don't have overhead, you don't have, it's mainly just a hobby, and that's what the stores are getting killed on, because they have to pay employees, lighting, electricity, the whole deal. They have to pay taxes. You know, what's not in here are taxes, right? So you're able to drop prices like this just because you don't have any of those issues. And depending on how much money you made up here, you can sell these cases down there. So unfortunately, if you catch what I'm saying, is the way this is going is you're going to get more and more people coming in just because they see easy profit, right? Like Again, if I'm buying a case for 900 and able to sell it for 1100 overall, doing what I was doing, you make money. And you know what? You may be able to keep some of the cards, play with it a little bit. There's pluses for all of that. And again, this is all about greed, and it has nothing to do with them trying to kill your business. So now that we've gone through that, what are we looking at here? So you have increased competition. That's going to decrease. It's going to be decreasing playset pricing. You're going to have lower shiny card value, but as I've shown in the different scenarios, it's not going to matter because of like there's still value in a lot of these things. And again, they're not picking crappy sets. They're picking stuff that we know are going to do well. It's more just how many people are going to do this, right? With increased competition, there is a limit. Like if you can't sell that play set for 250, if it goes to 200, if the shiny cards that I said that you could sell, like if they start dropping to like 400, you're gonna start seeing negative, and I could potentially see that just because everybody wants to make money. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything about making money. There is one thing that's coming though. So there is one plus side: the stimulus bill. Inside that stimulus bill, everybody was so excited for it. Some people have heard of this, some people have not. Beginning on January 1st, 2022, third party payment processors will have to report any income for goods or services exceeding 600 during the calendar year on a Form 1099-K. Previously, processors only had to report this income if it was both 20,000 or more during a calendar year and 200 transactions and more. That would be your eBays, your PayPals, your Mercaris, like all those kinds of things. You're going to start seeing people being hit with taxes. And the main plus side for a backpack seller is the fact that you're not paying taxes. You had that $20,000 limit. So this in itself may knock people out. We'll see. I suspect that some people are going to try it. Some people are not going to know about this law, but in the way, this is going to help you a little bit. So you got your choices here, and these are fun choices. But this is the reality of what you're looking for. As a physical store, you actually have an advantage, right? You have many disadvantages, but you do have an advantage. You can help grow the community, and in growing the community, you are able to secure actual sales. Some people refuse to buy online. Some people rather buy from a place that you can take that person and throw them in case anything goes wrong, right? Like there's that safety in knowing that there's a store, there's a community being there. You can wait for 2022. Hopefully you can just waiting as in you're just gonna stop selling, or you're just going to keep chugging along and hopefully 22 knocks out people. We know there's some really strong sets in 2022 coming out. Even towards the end of the year into 2022. So you just tough it out. But I think, me personally, if I was a store, what would I do? As I say that, I'm like, what would I do? I just went through all of these scenarios and I'm like, what would I do? I would probably try going with that value added experience and tough it out till 2022. These are some really great sets. Again, the other side is you could give up and sell other games, and that's viable, right? You could do Digimon, you can do Pokemon and all that stuff, but for me personally, I think it's one or the other. It really depends on how much allocation I think I would get for the other games, right? It's one thing to say I'm just gonna move on to another game, but if you're not given a certain amount, it's not gonna matter anyways. And I guess it just depends on your player base too, your actual community. Do they want to keep playing Weiss, or do they want to play a different one? I think that's where the hard part is. It depends on your market and the kind of people that you get into it, or maybe the kind of people you actually want to start attracting. Maybe you want to branch off or something. But for store owners, this is a rough situation, but it's the reality. So you could play the same game where you drop the play sets and all that. You could do that, but at the same time, again, we know overhead and all that is going to kill it. The only other thing I could say is maybe you become a pseudo backpack seller. You buy Weiss, but you don't actually open it on store time, right? Like you don't sit there and have employees do it. You just go home and do it. But it's tough choices that you got to do. But there you are. I hope this is helpful. Hopefully it pieces all together and brings some awareness of what's going on. Again, I don't do any of this stuff. This is just me coming out with numbers, and realistically I probably didn't even want to. There was a video that I did before this on should you be making money in Weiss, and there were some parts I left out because I didn't want it used for evil. I mean, technically what I just went through here could be in a way used for evil, but it offers you at least some explanations on what I feel is happening here. Well, good luck.